Hey guys, it's Tobey's Talkshow. I believe this is the 13th episode, and today we will be talking about the NBA and all the interesting topics around the league right now. With the NFL season over and the draft and free agency a little far away, I decided to talk about the NBA as it is in full swing right now with 20 games left in the regular season. And with the postseason coming ahead, I decided that we should talk about the most interesting topics around the league right now. So let's start off with probably the most talked about topic right now, and that is the Houston Rockets and their small ball lineup. So the Houston Rockets got a lot of hate and controversy for trading away their most likely future star center in Clint Capella and obtaining Robert Covington at the trade deadline because people thought, oh, what are you guys doing? Like, you're going to have JaVale McGee and Jokic and all these big time centers dominating. They're just going to post up. They're going to fade away. They're going to drive and be aggressive. And, a 6'6" PJ Tucker can't stop them. But so far, that has not been the case. The Rockets, I believe, are around 11-4 since the small ball lineup switch. And they have looked really good. So we could talk about the pros and cons of the lineup and what people are saying as of right now. So the point, and I believe the reason why the Rockets did this big move is because they have had no success as in making it to the finals with James Harden as, their franchise piece. And they had to change it up. These past 5 years, they've had the Warriors standing in the way, and everyone knew, oh, the Warriors are going to make it to the finals and win the whole thing. And that's just because they had such a good team. And this year's a little different. You have the Lakers and Clippers kind of as the front runners right now, but, it's not like it's a lock for any team. You have teams that are most likely going to make it, like the Lakers and Clippers, but, no one is saying the Lakers are a lock, the Clippers are a lock, because you really never know. Because, these teams, they have these duos. You have Russ and Harden, Leonard and George, and James and Davis. So it's a lot different than looking at the Warriors when they have 4 All-Stars compared to 1 or 2. I understand why they did it. They had to make a change. They weren't winning. James Harden, was getting frustrated, and it was time to make a move to try to, make it to the finals for the first time with James Harden as a Rocket. The reason why I believe it is working is because it's kind of like the Bucks strategy. And the reason why I say that is because the Bucks have 4 perimeter shooters, and then you have Giannis who could drive, who could shoot, or who could, draw a foul. And that's what they're doing. They're maximizing Russ. They're letting Russ do his thing. Before the past 4 years, you've had James Harden leading the offense and taking control. And, he had the ball in his hands most of every possession. But now you could give it to Harden and he could ISO, or you could give it to Russ and he could drive and then kick it out to one of these guys on the wing. You got to give Mike D'Antoni credit for making this work. Right now they're getting some hate after losing to the Knicks and Clippers. The Rockets are going to get out-rebounded. You know that. That's going to happen. The Rockets may get, defensively be hurt by it. But if the Rockets can outscore the team, a playoff team, 4 out of 7 times, they will win that series and they will move on. And that's what it's going to come down to. If James Harden is on his game, which, he hasn't been known for in the playoffs, and Russell Westbrook, is doing his thing and the Rockets are letting him do his thing, they could be a very dangerous team. The last night, the Clippers shut them down. Most of the time they shot the ball for 3. They were contested, but sometimes they had the open shot. James Harden had a few open shots, and he just couldn't make it. They were 17% from 3 last night, which is horrendous. So it's really going to come down to is, are the Rockets going to be able to shoot and outscore their opponent and win the game? And I understand why they're doing it. It makes sense. It's succeeded. So it's been successful so far, and we will see what happens in the future. The next topic I'm going to talk about is Steph Curry returning. This is great for both the league and the Warriors and Curry himself. Curry's been out since October. He's only played 4 games this season, now 5 since last night. And it's just good to see him back. People are wondering, oh, why is Curry returning? It doesn't make sense. He may get hurt again. He may, lose a shot at playing next season if he gets hurt. But if Curry thinks he's 100% and the Warriors think he's 100%, let him go out for many reasons. One is because he has to build chemistry with these players. He could play with Clay and Draymond, but you have a new person in Wiggins who's probably going to be there next year. You have Damian Lee, who's going to be a bench player probably for you next year. Same with Eric Pascal, Marquise Chris. You want Curry to start getting these relationships since he's the point guard, since he's the ball handler, since he's the guy controlling the offense. Also, why wouldn't you want Curry to play? you see it last night whenever Curry was in, the fans were into it more. The NBA gets more views, and from just just from the word side, not even looking at it from the NBA getting more views and more popularity. You want this team to gel more. You want the Warriors fans to be excited about something. And the Warriors, right now, they're miles ahead of the second worst team, I believe, is the Hawks or the Cavs. 5 games, which is a lot with 20 games left. That they could afford to win some games, and it's good for the culture. They're in a new arena. You want them to succeed. With these, some of them are new fans, some of them are old fans, but you just want the Warriors to succeed. If you're a fan, and that's really it. I mean, you want Curry to play. You don't want Curry to be so rusty next year, since next year is going to be their chance to win. So it's just good to see Curry back. I don't see any problem with him playing. If he feels he's 100%, I think he should play. The next is a quick one, which is Udonis Haslem. Udonis Haslem is supposedly wanting to return next year, and this is just me saying, look, Udonis, you've had a great career with the Heat. You most likely will get your number retired by them. You've been a great sport, but you're not playing. You won't play next year. Let the Heat get another guy for their team who could have a chance to play. And who could have, maybe a chance to progress into a great player. And, if you want to be back and helping the team, you could take an assistant coaching role or taking a role in the Heat organization if you want to stick with the Heat. But I feel like, Udonis, maybe you should look at it as giving someone else an opportunity. You've had your time. You're not playing anymore. That's just how I look at it. I respect Udonis Haslem. If he wants to keep, maybe doing practices with the guys and supporting his team, good for him. But, maybe there's a time where you should let other people get the chance. The next is Al Horford. Al Horford has been a guy where when I saw the contract he got from the Sixers, I was like, what? Because I knew, look, he's getting older. He wasn't, his Atlanta Hawks self, his early Celtic self. He's going to get worse. He's going to progressively get worse over time as you get older. You just can't stick with the NBA speed anymore. And that's what's happening. But, there are rumors that are coming out that, Horford's there to guard Giannis, and that makes sense. Horford's not having a great year at all, and he still has 3 more years with his $30 million contract per year. But, it won't matter if he is able, first of all, the Sixers have to make it to play the Bucks, most likely in the Eastern Conference Finals, if they want a chance for Horford to guard Giannis. But if they get to a point where, they do play somehow, Simmons and Embiid get healthy, and if Horford shuts down Giannis, then I guess it was a good signing. I'd give $30 million a year to beat the Bucks and make it to the finals or make it to the third round. If he's able to stop Giannis, obviously he's not having a great year and won't probably be at the same level he was at the beginning and in the middle parts of his career. But if he's able to do the job that they want him to, I understand why they signed him. He's still a very good defensive player. He doesn't have the shot he had. He's not as aggressive as he used to be. But if he could be a leader on the team and if he could play his defense, I don't have a problem with him. Supposedly they're looking to trade him. We'll see. But if they get a chance, or maybe not even Giannis, if they have to play like a Domantas Sabonis against the Pacers or Bam Adebayo, and he's able to do his job, it'll be all worth it. We'll just have to see because right now it's not looking too good with his contract. Next, we have the signings of Dion Waiters and Joakim Noah. I'm going to go by this quick because they're not big signings. Not going to play 30 minutes a game. But Waiters is a guy where he gives you another shooting aspect to the team and is someone that's more aggressive than someone like a Danny Green. And he's also someone like a vet, and him and LeBron are very close. So I understand the signing. He's not going to be a guy that's going to get 30 minutes a game, 20 minutes a game, maybe like 10 if he's lucky. But I'd rather have him over Troy Daniels, so it makes sense. And Joakim Noah, he's not going to play either, but I think he's a good veteran leader. He's a guy that's another dog on the team. So the Clippers are all in on this dog thing where they're going to be aggressive, they're going to get in your face, they're going to get in your head, and that's how they're going to play. They're going to be feisty, they're going to be diving on the floor, and Joakim Noah is another player that does that for them. So it makes sense. Maybe he'll play some backup center minutes. Maybe if JaMychal Green's hurt or something like that, he could play. But I understand both signings. I just don't understand how they have so many roster spots. It doesn't make sense. It seems like they have like 30 with all the players they've both signed, especially the Clippers. Next, we have the James Harden Yanis beef. I don't really want to talk about this. It's kind of settling down, but I just wanted to tell you guys what I think of it. It started back. People are forgetting that started back when Giannis won the MVP, which he deserved. I don't think anyone doesn't think he deserved it besides James Harden. James Harden was on the radio I think a month after Giannis won it, and he was talking about how he deserved it and Giannis didn't deserve it, and it's all because of the media. I don't believe that's true. But this year, Giannis has clapped back, saying he's a defensive liability. He wanted, when he was drafting, he wanted someone that passed the ball, and then Harden clapped back. I think yesterday saying, try me. And I like it. I'm not looking at it from, who's right, who's wrong. I think the league needs more of this. When you have two of the best players going at each other, that's what you want. You want from the NBA. It's become a league where the refs the refs are a little careful, as in they call a lot of fouls. It's not as aggressive as it used to be. It's a lot different from like the '90s, where you had Charles Oakley punching people in the face and brawls coming out with the coaches on the floor. But I like it. You want your guys. You don't want obviously you want the top guys to be friends or whatever. But when you get on that court, you want those guys to fight, and that's what you're seeing from Giannis and Harden. They're not friends, and it's good because it's coming to a point this league is becoming very soft, and you want some of that hardness back. And that's what Giannis and Harden are bringing. They're two of the top players in the league going at it. You can't ask for much more. And it's going to be exciting to see them play. And it shows that both of them are leaders and both of them are winners, and they want to win. They don't care if they have friends or not. So I think it's a good look for both sides. Kind of morally, maybe not them bickering though. The next thing we have is the Nets are reportedly maybe trading, like Dinwiddie and Allen and LeVert for another star. And my thoughts on that are, I wouldn't push it. You could get someone like a Serge Ibaka who would be perfect for that team. A defensive leader in free agency. So don't push it, Nets. Don't trade your three. Some of them may start next year. Some of them may be solid bench players. But don't push it. Don't trade your whole team or most of your players in the rotation for a third star, because you're gonna look at it with this free agency not being that good, and with them most likely not having their pick if they make the playoffs. You're not gonna have that many options to get role players that you want and desire. This team with KD and Kyrie definitely has a chance to win if KD can lead the right way. So for the Nets, don't push it. You don't want to, break the bank on getting a Bradley Beal, but then, you have Taurean Prince. You have a Taurean Prince and Garrett Temple starting, and then you have, no one on your bench. The next thing we have is the Magic. I'm just going to talk about, where the Magic is at right now. I talked about it in the last video, but, there have been rumors about Fournier and Gordon, and all I want to say is it's time to really rebuild. You don't have any star players for the future to look forward to. Aaron Gordon's a great player, but you're not going to have anyone that's going to be like Luka Doncic, Trae Young type player. So I think it's time to trade for as many picks as you can. You've been in the 8th, 7th seed, 9th seed for a while. Time to fully rebuild and get back to the top when they had Dwight Howard. The next thing I have is Jason Tatum breaking into a star. So my thoughts are, it's great to see Jason Tatum because we all knew he had that star potential. He's becoming a top 15, top 10 player in the league, which is crazy to say only in his third year. But now you're looking at it with Kemba returning, and you say, is Jason Tatum going to be able to get the rock as much as he was? And yes, he will. Kemba is not someone like Kyrie, who's not a leader, who's not looking for his teammates, not to succeed. He wants his teammates to succeed. And if you give Tatum that rock with Kemba, you could have a duo just like Davis and LeBron. They're putting up points. Both of them are averaging, I believe, over 25. So if you're able to, let Tatum control the offense sometimes, or maybe take Kemba out, this team could be very scary. But don't. If I'm Brad Stevens, I wouldn't say, Kemba, take complete control. Obviously, Kemba's a great player, and you want him to lead your team. But, you want to keep giving Tatum that rock, letting Tatum have the ball in his hands, letting him control the offense. Maybe like with 4 minutes left, take Kemba out, leave Tatum for 4 minutes, let him succeed. And then, second quarter, Tatum comes out for a bit. And then you could mesh them in at the end of the second quarter. Let them both play on their own and let them both play together. Because I think that would be the most successful for them, because they both could lead a team and both could drop 30 a night. The next I want to talk about, which I already started talking about, which is the refs. There have been a lot of controversial calls so far. In the past few years, have also been a lot of controversy with the refs. And we had Marcus Smart lashing out a few nights ago, and you had the Damian Lillard goaltend call that wasn't called. And how I look at it as, the NBA's do a lot better job with three things. one, letting the players speak their word. I don't believe that they should fine the players unless they're really doing something that the NBA believes is not right. Two, get rid of instant replays if you're not going to use them right. And three, figure out which refs deserve to stay and which don't, because there are refs that do not deserve to be reffing and are either too soft or are calling the game too tight. So let's start off with letting the players speak their mind. When you look at it like the Marcus Smart, where he was all up in their face, pointing at the refs, yes, that deserves to be a fine. And you have Mark Cuban saying that, yes, the owner should not be saying that. But I think, when Damian Lillard had the goaltend call, or I guess not the goaltend call that he wanted, he was able to speak his mind, and they didn't fine him. And I think that's right. I think players should be able to speak their mind to a certain degree. Like, they obviously shouldn't be cussing out the refs or stuff like that. But if they want to, say their mind on how they think officiating went, I think they should, and I think maybe they're going to start going that way. I think there should be a limit on what they should say and what they shouldn't, but I believe that should be a rule going forward. The next thing I said was instant replay. There are a few things wrong with instant replay and how their NBA is trying to change the game. One, it takes too long. When you have 20 seconds left and it was a block and you don't know who it went off of, and you're giving the teams a chance to recuperate, to get their energy back, and for the offensive and defensive team to call a play. And it sometimes comes up to a point where it's 5 minutes of them just staring at a screen. Make a decision. You should have one guy, just like the XFL, which is, I'm crazy to compare the NBA to the XFL, but you should have one guy controlling it, one guy saying the final decision, and that's it. It's annoying watching 10 guys debate, oh, is it this, that, because it just doesn't go anywhere, and it's slowing down the game, where the game has become where it's all about pace and going fast. It's slow, it's boring, no one cares, and it's giving teams unfair advantages. The next thing the last thing about the refs I want to talk about is getting rid of refs, or at least teaching refs this summer of what to do, because there have been times where refs have been horrible, and you have to figure out which refs are doing a very poor job and don't deserve to be here, and figuring out how to make the refs better overall. You could teach them that you should be able to look back. The NBA as a whole should look back this season and say, okay, what went wrong? What should we fix? What should we tell the refs to do in the future? And that brings me to my last point, which is challenges should either be fixed or get rid of, because you shouldn't be able to challenge something like, is it a goaltender or not, but not challenge if it's a foul. It doesn't make sense. I think you should either be able to challenge everything or nothing, because if you're having something that's like, oh, like I remember a few weeks ago when Lakers and the Celtics played, they were seeing if who touched it last, but you could see Anthony Davis's arm because he grabbed behind his back, which was an obvious foul, but they couldn't call it because you can't challenge that. So they should fix the challenging rules as well. The next thing I have is the Western Conference 8 seed. Who do I think will make the 8 seed? And in my opinion, I think it's going to be the Blazers. With Damian Lillard coming back now, I think it's the Blazers to take. The Grizzlies have the hardest schedule by far left. And if Damian Lillard, McCollum, Whiteside, Nurkic, who's coming back also, which is a great addition for them, and Anthony Melo can rally the troops, and with Simons off the bench and with Ariza, if they could do their thing, and I think they have the best chance to make it to the AC, and I think they'll be the best competitors to beat the Lakers. I think Damian Lillard has shown that he could beat the Lakers on the night. I think it was Kobe Bryant night. I think it was the first game back since Kobe Bryant's sad passing, rip to Kobe Bryant. But I think Damian Lillard has shown he could beat the Lakers, and I think it would be the most entertaining matchup seeing superstars go head-to-head. The next thing is the Milwaukee Bucks. Just saying, I think they'll reach 65 to 68 games. I just wanted to share my prediction. I don't think they'll reach 70, but it doesn't matter how many games they win unless they make it to the finals, and that's all going to depend on if Giannis Antetokounmpo could show that he's a clutch player and can lead his team. He hasn't shown it so far, but hopefully he can this year. And the last thing I want to talk about is my New York Knicks. I am a New York Knicks fan, and it's been a really, really tough 7 years. This is going to be the 7th year the Knicks don't make the playoffs, and there's been a lot going on. Fans are being kicked out. The Spike Lee situation. The Knicks just suck in general. And what can you do? First of all, James Dolan has to sell the team for many reasons. One of them is because he's a terrible owner, and two, with James Dolan there, the how players, how agents, how everyone looks at the Knicks is so terrible. They will never get anyone in free agency, and they'll never succeed. And so if you're gonna base everything off draft luck, that's not gonna end well for you, because if you don't land these guys that are gonna be superstars like a Trae Young, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, etc., you're not gonna succeed as a team. Which sucks because it's the biggest market. The NBA succeeds when the Knicks are good. It's so much better for the league. Teams are more fans are more interested. The NBA economically succeeds. Viewership is up. The Knicks get to you get to watch the Knicks on TV, which you never get to do anymore. And it's all because of Dolan. Once Dolan's gone, it's not gonna be fixed right away like that, but it'll be a slow climb up the mountain to the top again. It sucks because Dolan is a tyrant. He controls every part of the Knicks, and that's why I feel bad. That's why there's been a carousel of players, carousel of ownership, or not ownership, as the president, as the GM, because they're all under James Dolan's tyrantcy, and he just controls everything. And it's not going to work until he leaves. It doesn't seem like he has to leave, but maybe Adam Silver should step in, or at least take a look at it to see if there's a way, because I'm sure Adam Silver, if he had the chance to, would love to get rid of Dolan, just because it's so much better for the league. And the Knicks are a franchise where if they're good, the NBA is in good hands. So it sucks to see my Knicks, of course, being poor, but hopefully, they'll draft right this year again. They'll have a nice trio of Robinson, RJ Barrett, and their pick this year. And that's all I want to talk about today. It was a pretty long video, probably 22, 23 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what other topics you guys want me to talk about. We'll get into the NFL draft soon, and the NFL free agency, and the NBA playoffs. That'll be probably my next few videos. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.